and you know I'm rocking with the signature.
It's The Vibe. Houston's Coach Morris, Rob G, the General, in the studio right now. Man, legendary. Does not even begin to describe what's going on up in here right now, man. We've got Mr. Albie Shore in the studio, DJ producer Eddie F, and the one and only Annalisa Lopez. You're like, who's that? She's a superstar. Don't even worry about it. You just need to know that right now. And we're talking with Al because we've got an incredible event that's coming up this weekend, the Liver Walk for Life. Because, Al, you've got a very interesting story that's tying you into this, man. Why, for the people who don't know, is this so important to you and dear to your heart?
Well, I am, first of all, good to see you, the General, in the building. So good to see you. And, it's been interesting, for those who are not aware, I went through a tsunami of a health crisis over the summer of 2022, and by the grace of God, I am still here. So we say BCAC, before coma, after coma.
All right, so let's walk back. July of 2022.
I entered into the hospital via my legendary little brother. He thinks he's older, but better known to the world as Eddie F. Presents. Mr. Edward Farrell, CHCO, happened to, we were working on some business stuff and then music and so on and so forth. So I was visiting here in Houston and fell ill. Kind of left the scene for a second, went to go kind of regroup myself, and then wound up collapsing. Lost all the feeling on the left side of my body. Wound up crawling over to get to a phone, made the call. Eddie says, hey, listen, you need to call Dr. Kosler ASAP and find out what's going on. He said, I'm trying to be on my way because he happened to be at a certain distance. And he said, I'll be on the way, but call your doctor immediately. I called Dr. Kosler. I was instructed to get to the nearest emergency room, not now, but right now. So I said, okay, I'm going to do the best I can. So I called Uber. I was trying to do whatever I was trying to do. I made it downstairs outside of the studio, and there was some rocks and kind of a small, dimly lit area right outside of where the garage was on a side street where the Ubers would pick up. Now, that's significant because once I made it outside, I was able to make it outside. I happened to collapse in the street there where those rocks are. And then I kind of came to, but noticing that not one, not two, but not three Ubers had actually arrived, in addition to canceling because they saw me laying in the street. Now, mind you, where I'm from, all that means is, oh, dude got shot. I'm not messing with this right here. Let me just keep it moving. So come to find out, whatever the case is. But then you never know what happens. An angel comes along in an Escalade, or some sort of SUV of that nature, and picks me up off the ground and says, hey, are you okay? And I said, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. He said, okay, I'm going to take you to the hospital. So he puts me in his car, takes me to the ER, the closest ER, and after that, all I know is I looked up and I saw Eddie's face, and he said, yo, what happened? I was like, bro, I don't know what happened. And I started explaining, and apparently I passed out. Things ensued from there. I was in dire straits at that point. They tried to operate on me because I had been bleeding and all this other stuff going on, and I guess it didn't fare well. And then that's when Eddie kicked in and called Dr. Kosler and said, listen, here, my man.
Move.
Yeah.
So at that point, we needed to. Well, first you want to tell about the first hospital when they
So
they gave
tried to,
they basically.
I'll probably try to
you
put you
tell
in
that part.
What? Oh, about the
hospice?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So it was determined that I was so ill at that point, there was nothing else they can do for me, and they were basically said, look, we got to send him to hospice. He's a goner. There's absolutely nothing else we can do. We've tried everything, so on and so forth. And then Eddie got wind of it and reached out to his colleague, Dr. Khosla.
And then, Dr. Khosla basically said, there's no way that's going to happen, And, to be honest, there was some words, exchanged with the staff there, and there's no way this is going to happen. And then, and then we formulated a plan, and we needed to get Al over to Methodist. So, I went and got Al, lifted him up into my truck. And
that's all I can remember is I can see Eddie, and he, he's grabbed me and he tried to put me up in his, I was a big dude. I just finished. I won the heavyweight championship. So I was a big dude. But Eddie, some way, picked me up and got me into his truck. Yep.
So you hijacked him from the hospital?
Yes, and then we drove him to Methodist. And the plan was as soon as, just get him over there, we get him in the system. And keep in mind, it's still Al, so I'll be sure. So we got him there, but I had him to the side with the security around him to the corner. So because it was emergency room, it was hectic in there. So got him to the side, got him registered in the system. And as soon as his name was in the system, called Dr. Khosla, and he said, "Okay, I got it from here." And then maybe like 2 minutes later, there was a team of with the stretcher and a team of doctors rushing down the hallway to come get Al.
I think there's a very important part here that and I know you're kind of skipping over it, but a lot of people don't know that you live here in Houston, yes. and you've been here now since 2015, 2014. And the reason why you even had these medical contacts is because you were doing IT work for a lot of a lot of people in the medical industry. So it was like, how would Eddie know? Yeah. How would Eddie know these doctors and who to call? Yeah. But it's just amazing to me, the orchestration of God, God getting you here, getting you, working in that particular field, that industry where you're learning and meeting up with the different doctors and knowing who to call and who's good and who's not, who just went to college to just get a degree because their mama told them, and who's actually right.
Dr. Khosla, he's the one who actually first hired me here as a consultant, brought me here as a consultant, first part-time. Then they hired me as CTO of their medical group, and he was one of the partners of the group. So I was their CTO for 7 years, and through working with him, brilliant doctor. I call him the Steve Jobs of doctors.
Absolutely.
He's just a brilliant guy, and he formulated a plan to make sure that that my brother here got the best care and got the best doctors, the best hospital, and ironically, it felt like when we were in the entertainment industry, Uptown Records, it felt like how we would deal with situations in crisis in us coming up in the music business, but it was now medicine.
It was real life,
and it was real life, and so we were just blessed to. And I think about the same thing, just the timing and how God orders your steps.
Everything
you never know
that got you here. Actually, how a gas station in Atlanta got you here, but that's a whole nother story for another.
Yeah, and that part too. Yes.
But Eddie, let me, in all fairness, I have to give Eddie flowers from the standpoint of always being the voice of reason in many, many fields. So whether it was Uptown Records, Eddie was the glue at Uptown Records and the reason it ran like a business. So as much as we came from the street and we were just doing music and then they had an infrastructure, Eddie was the one. So, but in every situation, he's always kind of been the calm in the storm, no matter how hectic it was. And Rob, how hectic the industry is, the music industry. But he was always that kind of voice of reason where everybody else who would react to a circumstance and situation, Eddie would be the one and be like, come here. Stop.
We'll bring it in.
Stop.
That's crazy. Alisa, now, when this happened, where were you when you got the news of Al being sick and needing really serious medical attention?
I was actually at work, Rob G., and I was told by Dr. Constance Mobley, who is his transplant surgeon and performed his surgery along with Dr. Mark Hobeka. And since I am over the diversity program at Houston Methodist Hospital, J.C. Walter Jr. Transplant Center, once I found out that he was our patient, I immediately got involved, and I knew that he was very, very sick. And he had been with us for a very long time at that point. So a lot of prayers coming from hospital staff members, everyone. And as Albie Short will say, I mean, strangers approaching him after, just saying, we were praying for you. And as prayer warriors and from Houston Methodist Hospital, we start in prayer with every surgery. And so
Because Houston Methodist is faith-based.
Is faith-based,
Okay.
absolutely, first and foremost. And I remember receiving that news that he was going to make it. And I remember the cool feeling, the chills. I knew it was God. I knew that God had so much more for him here. And the fact that our hospital was chosen for his care truly, truly made a difference in his outcome. And I will say that to everyone that I can. He was actually at a transplant center that has a 36-bed ICU dedicated for liver transplant
Wow.
patients. We also have a liver center dedicated for liver patients. And as I said, Rob, just thankful he chose us. And I knew after he came out and celebrating 1-year anniversary, and we met in the hallway for one of his appointments, and he said, Annalisa, utilize me. I love what Houston Methodist did for me, all the angels that were a part of my healing and my recovery.
The Albie's Angels. Just always, always in prayer, always well wishes. And that's part of the therapy, Rob. Like the therapy of it is having a team of professionals who are truly focused on your health and wellness.
Right.
Because at that point, it's fantastic. That's cool, Albie Shaw is here. But I was always reminded, we are here to make you better. That's cool. We love the music. That's fantastic. Blim, blam, blim. Smack it up, flip it down. No. But, first and foremost, and I always felt that way. People were coming in from all departments. Like, I made the best friends in food service, and the plumbers, the janitors, the RNs, the surgeons. I mean, everyone would just come and just, lay hands and say, hey, listen, we've seen this before. We haven't seen anybody this sick, which
Right.
I'm so surprised. So that kind of
That's like
Rob,
that's not the top of the heap that you want to be on right there. Like,
Sick.
you're the number one sick person we ever had in here. Yeah,
10% of survival.
10%. Now, let me ask you, how hard is it normally to get a liver transplant? Is it, because I always hear people being on a donation list for kidneys. Is liver, is that just as hard, or where's that sit?
It is a difficult journey, and you have to get a good match. And that's where the difficulty comes in, which is where being project manager over diversity, equity, inclusion, my job is to bring awareness so that we can get more living donors signed up on the donor registry, on your driver's license, because those are the gifts of life that we need, and there are not enough out there to go around for all of our transplant patients. So with as sick as he was, I mean, such a blessing.
Difficult, Rob, but that was even a difficult situation as well, because I was so sick, as we were hearing from Dr. Mobley, that they also had to make an executive decision to say, is he well enough? Because I was septic, 105 fever.
Multi-organ failure.
I had multi-organ
tracheotomy.
Tracheotomy, and I was going to say lobotomy.
Right.
All the T's and dialysis.
Emergency dialysis.
And then they give you a
operation.
chevron, right? What they cut your
And
chest.
then Dr. Mobley cut my chest open all the way and went to work. And me not realizing, with the liver is probably the most important organ in your body. You can get the machine to pump your heart. You can get a machine to pump your kidneys. There ain't no machine to pump your liver.
Wow.
So that's why, listen, as much as
It's all right, bro.
as much as I just want to make sure I utilize my platform to bring awareness. This industry has a lot going on in the industry, a lot of shenanigans and things of that nature, which we'll have that conversation with me, you, Eddie, at dinner.
All right.
But the most important part of this part is that it's my mission. It's my philosophy has always been the same since childhood. Leave a person in a better place than you found them.
Okay.
Anyone that you encounter, leave them in a better place than you found them. Nothing to do with money. It's got to do with simply paying attention, simply giving a good word. You never know. Everybody's going through something.
Right.
So now how do I take that and magnify this with my platform? Not realizing also, too, as I woke up. Now, you know me better than most, Rob. I don't want to ruin my whole secret garden vibe, but I'm a straight nerd. So I study analytics and
the science,
and the science of why and where music sells, and I get it from Eddie. So it's and which hemispheres and the temperature of where music sells, and the key of the music is it's a whole this science. But that being said, I learned the massive footprint that this story had from every culture. So it was covered in every culture, black, white, Asian, atheist, Muslim, Catholic. Like, this story had no prejudice. This story had no prejudice.
You're beloved, Al.
No, I'm not saying it like
you're
that.
beloved. But I'm saying the story has no prejudice because you're beloved. It's because you're beloved by the masses. And I can see why everybody pulls up to you and whispers in your ear, "You good? Praying for you. You straight?" You've given so much love through your music. People just want to return it back.
That means a lot, Rob, because the music saved my life. Well, music is medicine.
Yeah.
For the most part, but the music saved my life. And that's like, with my brother Eddie, him getting me out the street. I was hustling. I was doing what I needed to do. I didn't know any better at that point because to me, I'm just helping my mother pay the rent.
Now, hold on. Yeah. Now, like I say, things just come to me. Yeah. So he got you out the street there, hustling. Then he gets you out the street again.
That's the point. Everything comes full circle.
Wow.
He got me out the street in 1986.
Yeah.
And he got me out the street in 2022.
Amazing.
But see, I keep my ear to the streets. That's what I said. and there's, if you know me personally, people know my background. I've been through a little bit of everything, most self-perpetuated. But I tell you, it's been quite a journey, and I'm just truly grateful for the phone call from Ms. Lopez at Methodist to create the connection with the American Liver Foundation and some of the programs that they're working on. And when Lisa said, "Hey, we have an event coming up that I think would be pretty good for you," and she thought maybe I'd just come along and walk. Why don't you just come walk with us and bring some awareness? But Rob, where we come from. We're from uptown.
You don't just do it; you overdo it.
Listen, listen. Stop. I can't call her with your phone. Listen, I said, listen. If you want me to get involved, these are some of the things that we need to implement as well. Let's bring us. What is the objective here? Well, we need to bring awareness. We need to get as many eyeballs. We need to get so. I said, well, please utilize me in my platform, and the simple fact that I'm a walking billboard related to knocking on death's door, following through with the health care, what it can do for you. In addition to my deal with Annalisa was that we also I need to be educated as much as possible in terms of what this woman does, and including her colleagues who are the surgeons and the doctors and the physicians, because I then want to move into a position of being educated enough where we can go to Congress and create legislation to remove the disparage, just to remove any of that, what you do related to healthcare for us.
Right.
In healthcare, especially with minority communities.
Really?
In our cultures.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's, black and brown and Asian, like it's such an imbalance, and it's such a, it's an atrocity. I look at it from the standpoint as we can spend so much on other people's wars and things of that nature.
Right.
We got home ground. Now, mind you, I don't say anything, we can help others. That's my nature. But we got so much going on right here. Let's handle ours. And how do we create a situation where, I was just talking about this, we were talking about this on the way over. I first got to Houston, and I'm driving along the highway. Which one was it?
59.
The 59. Yeah, the
I was gonna say more than that.
I'm still learning. though,
Yeah, it's all good.
So I'm on 59, and in front of me, I see this massive accident. Bam! 18-wheeler hits this car, crushes it into the divider, and blah, 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 everybody's skidding there. So I'm a New Yorker. What do? I pull mine around, park my car across the highway. I'm like holding everybody, hold on, y'all, hold up. And then I go to check on the young man, and I'm trying to see if he's alive because the truck hit, boom, it spun, bam. So I'm looking, I'm going. So I'm walking up to the car, young man, are you okay? Are you breathing? Are you just, how, what's going on? Tell me what's, and he won't move. So I'm trying to, I get up to the car because the car, smoking and stuff. So I get up, I'm looking over, and he's alive, and he's blinking his eyes. I said, okay, please don't move. I need you to sit where you are. Do not move.
Yeah.
I said, I'm going to call the ambulance. I'm going to call somebody. And he hits the window. Oh, gee, no, sir, please don't do that. I'm like, young man, I need to call the ambulance. You're bleeding from the head, window's cracked, your head is so and so forth. No, please, sir, don't move. Don't do that. Don't do that. I said, what's going on with you? You got a warrant?
Yeah, case? Yeah.
I said,
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
what the format is like. You got a warrant? He said, no, sir, nurse. So, no, you can't tell my mother because we can't afford to go to the hospital.
So he would rather end it all than give his mama that bill.
Give his mama that hospital bill.
Wow.
Now, that's like the current condition of the healthcare system. There's so many improvements that need to be made. It's not going to happen overnight. But if you think about it, the majority of it has to do with, man, I don't have insurance, I can't afford insurance, I can't do this. Why can't we all get health care?
Equal access.
Equal access.
Why can't we all get health care if I'm dying? Why does Miss Johnson have to choose her medicine, rent, eating,
Right.
or dying?
Right.
That's in this country when there's so much, the wealth gaps and so on and so forth. And I'm not the one to solve it, but related to what I can focus on is the health and wellness portion of it and the access and being an advocate because sometimes you just got to nudge folks. Oh, that's what we need, And now that I've been fully immersed in, with a few of the politicians and the constituents here in your market here. Well, now mine.
Yours, yeah. You Tony, you got the Astro hat on.
I appreciate yourself and your colleagues and Bun B, and Trey the Truth, and just the entire community here who's just embracing me like an OG, and I got to do something now.
So
I'm just not going to come sit in your soil. I need to do something. How do I improve the soil? How can I water this? How can I water these plants?
So with that being said, tell us about the liver walk that's happening on Saturday. Okay. That's going to start at what time and where is it going to be?
So the American Liver Foundation has appointed me chair of the event.
Oh, wow.
And it's called the New Jack Liver Life Walk.
Wow.
It's in association with, of course, the American Liver Foundation.
Uptown. They just come in and just take over.
Yes, and
yeah, your little liver walk was cool, but hold on. Get your ass done here.
Right. And Houston Methodist Hospital as well. And, this is the walk to bring awareness and the walk to end liver disease. So it's just about, the more we can magnify it, and it's look at it from the standpoint of what Reverend Sharpton and what Attorney Crump, what they do in their navigation. People look at, say, and Rev told me this himself. People, you just doing this because you want attention, you want so on and so forth. And you know what Rev said? You're right. He said, yeah, I want attention on this. You know why? Because otherwise people are going to cover it up.
Mm.
And they're going to get away with this. They're going to get away. So his job is to bring attention to, oh, no, this is wrong. No justice, no peace.
Right.
So this is wrong. So we need to bring attention to the atrocities that are going on. So we have the same situation in healthcare. So I don't want that young man to tell me, nah, OG, and want to wrestle and fight me bleeding because I'm going to call an ambulance to try to help him because he can't afford it.
Right.
So how do we fix that? Same thing in education.
Yeah.
Same thing, another thing.
Housing and
Housing, yeah.
Yeah.
So eventually, like I said, what we want to do is I want to be educated by Dr. Mobley, Miss.
Let's not
Lopez,
run over Dr. Mobley. She's a black woman
black woman
who performed the surgery on you, correct?
my surgery.
Critical care
and liver transplant surgeon,
Really?
and vice chair of our diversity, equity, and inclusion for transplant.
I just hear boss when you say that.
Boss. Yes, straight up super boss. What an amazing lady, and she's also educated me each time we have an opportunity. I'm always at Methodist doing labs, following up, because part of having a liver transplant, being intubated on the ventilator for 38 days, there's what's called post-care. So I've got to go to the hospital. For the rest of my life, I'll be taking 20 medications a day, tacrolimus, anti-rejection medicines, things of that nature. So it's part of the journey, so there's a responsibility with this too. It's not, I just got a new liver, I got kidney. No, you have to actually now take care of it.
Yeah.
So you have to be focused. You have to, I'm not out partying, I don't drink, I don't do any of this stuff. So it's now an easy mission as it relates to the focus part about it. Now, following through with it is what's most important. But we need to create some sort of legislation where we create this equal access. To me, that's kind of my selfish mission.
Yeah.
That I want to make sure we all have access, no matter what where our decimal point is.
Eddie, when you look at Al and you see everything that he's been through, what do you see? What's the first thing that comes to mind?
Perseverance.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I've been telling him this all summer. I'm just amazed, how he's come through everything. And I'm like, man, you look good, man. You look, refreshed. You just look.
My pastor Byron Stevenson, Fort Bend Church, he always says, I don't look like what I've been. Most people don't look like what they're going through.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't look anything like a person that was in the coma for months.
Yeah. Yeah. And black excellence, and just we have this joke about just being from Money Under Mount Vernon and black excellence that goes along with that. The home of Dick Clark, the hope of Denzel Washington.
Here he goes.
Several other celebrities, and I think
doctors, lawyers, inventors, athletes,
chancellor of DC schools. Just
Adam Clayton Powell, Shabazz, Madam Betty Shabazz. Oh man.
And as a matter of fact, something we haven't mentioned. This is why we're so proud of the heritage of where we're from. Mount Vernon's a basketball town.
Yeah.
And our basketball team, our high school basketball team, will be state champion more than 50% of the time. So
is that like Port Arthur?
Yeah, it is like Port Arthur.
I see.
Port Arthur, they know us. When I first went to visit Port Arthur, they're like, "Oh, Mount Vernon, y'all got a ball team."
Big shout out to Port Arthur. Yeah.
So,
I know about y'all.
Yeah. So I think ingrained in us when we were coming up in high school. One, our team was winning, the state championship, so it kind of motivated us to be winners. And then they had a hall of fame when you came in the lobby of the high school.
That hallway.
And you would see all the people, and they had Dick Clark in there. They had E.B. White.
The author of Charlotte's Web.
They had John Branco, who was Michael Jackson's attorney. They had all these people, Stephanie Mills. So you would see all these people, and that kind of said, that kind of taught us these people have been successful.
Keep the excellence going, huh?
Right, and you can do it too.
Yeah.
So we have this joke that when we first went to take our demo, we were too young and crazy to know you can't just, make a call and set up a meeting with Russell Simmons and say, hey, we want to play your demo.
And then get a meeting.
Right, and get a meeting. We look back now and say, wow, we really called and just rolled down there and thought we could get a meeting just like that.
And we called I think we were working on something. There was a flood in the basement.
Yep.
So I was trying to move all the wires.
Yep.
And I was like, let's get out. And I found the yellow pages. Yeah. So the yellow pages. So I was trying to.
For those of you who do not know what the yellow pages is, it was a booklet back in the day that had all of the numbers that for any businesses or phone book. For those people, for the younger folks. That's for you. All right, let's move on.
It was like a
Yellow
paper
pages.
book encyclopedia for phone numbers.
It was like Google in a book.
It was your iPhone. It was your iPhone contact.
It was like Siri in paper form.
Exactly.
and then that particular day we had a flood in the basement. Eddie was spinning, I think, either Beastie Boys, or LL Cool J. So the record said Def Jam.
Yeah.
So I just went in the corner and I looked
Right
at
there
Def
on the-
Jam in the phone book, and I went to the wall phone. Yeah, the wall phone. We didn't
Wow.
have no cell phone. And so I went to the wall phone and picked up the phone. I just kept calling. I called like 20, 30 times. Finally got somebody on the phone, and then the rest was history.
Wow.
And, then somebody clowned me. Yeah, so I keep asking, hey, listen, can I speak to Russell Simmons? Can I speak? I've got this group, I was like this. I wasn't the manager.
Yeah.
I was like the spokesman. So I was like, yeah, I got this group, Heavy D and the Boys, So, and they were like, the Fat Boys? I was like, no, sir. Heavy D and the Boys. We're from Money Earning Mount Vernon. He was like, oh, you mean all y'all bougie that think y'all from the Bronx?
Right.
So finally, 30 times, finally got him back on the phone. Sir, who am I speaking to? Well, my name's Dr. Jekyll, Andre Harrell. I was like, I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to Russell Simmons.
Wow.
So that's how the whole thing started.
Wow.
And then boom, boom, boom. Eddie took over from there, got the demo together, sent the demo, went to the meeting, bam, they got the deal. Then Eddie, so it was like the way we operate. Okay, let's get one in. He keeps my cassette in his back pocket. He's on the move. I'm around Russell Simmons. I'm around the big wigs and so on and so forth. We kids, we still kids from Mount Vernon. So,
Oh yeah. So we got our deal, and we were in the door, and I used to keep Al's demo in my back pocket because, we were all trying to get a deal. So
Right.
it was kind of unsaid that whoever gets the deal first. I just wanted to make sure that all of
We
our
all
people
eat.
right.
Right.
So he was still doing demos with Kyle, and he came up with it was either Off on Your Own, I think it was.
yeah.
And it sounded dope, and I was like, oh man, I'm gonna bring this to Andre. Brought it to Andre, played the demo, and he knew who Al was because
He didn't know what I did.
Yeah, he didn't know what
He just
did.
saw me around. He said,
Okay.
"Look at that kid just hanging
Yeah,
out."
he's like, oh, that's the license with the girl. And the funny thing is, and I don't even know if I told Al this recently. There were some other women that were there, like while I was playing for Andre, and he said, "That's Curly," and I was like, "He's like, yeah, settle to me." And then one of the women says, "Oh, that's it. Yeah, you should meet with him. He's good looking."
Oh.
So,
King of the light skins. There we go, my man.
So then Andre takes the demo, and then he takes it to Quincy Jones and Benny Medina, and then the rest. Al's wins the Sony Innovators, and
And
the rest,
from
as
there.
they say, is history.
Yep, the rest and a acid wash jean jacket is history. Yeah.
Man, listen. Man.
Al, man, give everybody the information one more time about the event on Saturday.
Okay, so the American Liver Foundation, and I am elated that we've partnered, and I am the event chair, and we are doing the New Jack Liver Life Walk at McGregor Park. Now, this is 8 o'clock in the morning, y'all. I need
Come
you
on.
to get up 8 o'clock in the morning so you can register. We're going to start walking by 9:15.
Okay.
And we're going to take over the wonderful, amazing city of Houston. Got folks flying in from New York, from Chicago. Some surprises are going to be there, and people going. It's just going to be a nice event, celebrating, of course, the city of Houston, and me saying thank you also to the amazing staff, medical staff, and just executive staff at Houston Methodist for the care. And I'm just elated to be embraced by your amazing city, Rob. I mean, Houston is a beautiful place that I now call home. And I just look forward to seeing everybody out there. Now, we can make it even simpler if you visit albysure.net, ALBSURE, albysure.net /Liver Life Walk. That's albysure.net /Liver Life Walk. You can make a donation if you're able to. If not, just make sure you register.
Well,
and then click Join Team, because I want to take the rest of this journey along because we're going to do 15 around the country. So I want to make sure we locked in.
Well, speaking of that, Eddie has put a little challenge on me. Now he's winning right now. He's beating me right now. I created a team the other day. I was late to the game creating a team. Okay. However, I got some heavy hitters that said they're gonna look out for me. So by Saturday, I'm catching you, E. Last I saw, you had me about 1,000, but I'm gonna get you. I'm coming. I'm coming up to get you. Al, I don't know if anybody officially welcomed you to the Houston, man, but as Houston, but I want to welcome you, and I want to welcome you with this right here.
Listen, stop playing. Listen, hold up. See, now, if anybody knows my history, so this is the off on your own girl candy right here. So you already know.
Little peanut M&Ms, man. Listen. Welcome to. I don't know how many you can have. Maybe only half a bag.
Listen, this is my cheat day. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I just left my doctor, so we good.
We good?
Yeah, we good. I get to snack on these, man. Rob, man. Listen, I so appreciate you, brother. You are a legend. Everywhere I go, and I start talking, hey, I'm gonna. You know the general?
Whatever,
like,
man.
I'm like, hold up, no, I'm keeping it a buck, and I'm like, no, not the insurance company. I said the man, and even listen, the young lady sitting next to me, who's the big executive over at Houston Methodist, who'd you grow up listening to?
I'll be sure.
Night
and day jamming on the playground, and grew up with 97.9 The Box, Rob G.
Really? Is that right?
Yes,
I was a child prodigy. If it seems,
we
if it
all
was
know you, Rob G.
She was telling, that's what I'm saying. They were telling me, come on, the doctors know who you are, everybody. So you are obviously a prominent staple in this community, and just thank you for what you do, and thank you. And
thank you.
What people don't know is how much of a tsunami this radio business is. So the simple fact that you are still here doing what you do, King, blessings to you.
I appreciate it.
Blessings to you, and keep doing it. Doing it well.
I appreciate it, man. Like I said, all of these things, like everything just orchestrates together. And I think back to, this was probably, Eddie, 2016 when we first met, 2015, 2016. Well, I was on Boom. It was a classic hip hop station. I was hosting a morning show there, and I think it was the anniversary of the passing of Heavy. Okay. And I was doing a heavy D mix, and then some young lady called up and she said, well, Eddie F? You know who Eddie F is? He lives here. I'm like, I don't know. I'm in music. Yes, of course I know who Eddie F is. Of course. I said, well, I'm going to get him to call you up. That's like, huh? What? For real? I was like, first of all, what the hell is Eddie F doing here in Houston? How did that call? And I think the first time Eddie called me, I remember I was pulling up to my house, and me and Eddie talked for hour, some change, something like that. We ran the gamut from Davey DMX to we talked about everything, and it was like, I was like, I don't know if you know this, Ed, but I'm gonna go get us some best friend t-shirts printed up like right now, like we're gonna go around the mall with it. That's my BF and he's my BF. It's gonna have arrows pointing the other way, man. Eddie is just. Man, and I know you always throw flowers Eddie's way, but I want to do the same thing because Eddie, I always mess with him. I call him Home Depot E because and Home
He's
Depot
always building something.
He's always building something. He's always building something. But Eddie has the unique ability to be at Home Depot anonymously, or be at the all-white puffy party and everybody knows who he is. Absolutely. He can, and the way he can vacillate between both worlds and not even tripping.
It must be nice.
It must be nice.
I love it.
Right.
I love it. I'm like, oh man, I want your life.
He can go wherever. He can go wherever. He can go to the most extreme of elites. Or like you said, he's at the good old Home Depot walking around. Let me say, I need a P valve. Let me see. I appreciate you coming in, Ms. Lopez. Thank you very much for coming in, and thank you, and your team for everything that you did to save the life of this legendary man and grateful and humble guy. Your humbleness, man. I thought Eddie's humbleness was some next level, but both of y'all. I'll give Mount Vernon the credit on the humble. All right, there you go. Yeah, a little bit.
Money earned it.
All right.
Until we start playing ball. Once we start playing ball, then all humbleness is out the window.
And there we go. It's a wrap. Appreciate y'all. Goodbye.
Rob G. Yeah.